Dave, I want to talk to you first of all about what you've seen since you arrived in Britain. Online, we've seen videos of men being thrown away, dragged off by the police from their wives with stage 4 terminal cancer, simply for, well, they're calling it a hate crime. And the hate crime here in this instance appears to be, reportedly, a case of criticizing the flying of Palestinian flags on British soil in favor of, it has to be said, the actions of Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. Yeah. Are you pretty despondent about what you've witnessed in Britain since arriving here?
Well, I would say what I'm seeing in this room that we are in right now has been unbelievably inspiring, and hopefully we'll talk about that in a moment. But despondent is the right word in terms of what I've seen in London as a whole. As I was going to dinner last night, I drove past what I would call a Hamas rally. I don't think it is a Palestine rally. I think there's historical reasons that word doesn't even make sense in that context. But you don't see anyone at these rallies that is saying, no, I'm against Hamas, I'm against the actions of Hamas, I'm for the people of Gaza. If someone did do that at those rallies, they would not be treated particularly well. So this gentleman that you're talking about, who is a British citizen, he was just frustrated that there were Palestine, again, what I would say are Hamas flags, and he was expressing some discomfort for that. I know that you guys don't have the protections that we have around free speech and our First Amendment, which is constantly under assault, only secondarily to our Second Amendment, which is protecting our First Amendment, is the jealousy of the world. I'm fairly certain when I talk to sane people here in the UK, which I'm looking at 2 of them right now, that you guys think, boy, if our founding documents had only enshrined these God-given rights more tacitly, so that they wouldn't be able to come after people for expressing displeasure with a flag of, in essence, a terrorist organization, or so that you'd be able to defend yourself more so when a mob walks by your house. So I guess despondent is probably the right word, but I would also say that if there's a silver lining, and I don't know that we're at the silver lining yet, but if there is some silver lining about what's happening right now, is that the attacks in Israel on October 7th were so barbaric, they were so medieval, that truly words, as I'm sure you guys have probably said too on air, words do not describe what has happened here. It has so resonated across the West. It has so exposed the lunacy of intersectionality on the left, and it has woken up a certain set of people that were happy to be in a slumber. And if we can keep waking those people up, then maybe we don't go off the cliff. I think the United States is a little more secure in that because of our immigration has not been as affected by.
Although the southern border is pretty serious, isn't it?
Right, we have our own problem. I mean, literally this morning I was watching a video of thousands of people coming. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they're from. They're not all Mexicans. Not that would be okay either. We simply do not know who they are. You may have seen a video a couple of weeks ago of RFK, who at one time was a Democrat, now he's an independent. He went to the border with a selfie video, and he basically just started asking people, where are you from? They're all coming from the Mexican border. I think 28 countries worth of people just walked by him, and then they just wander into our country.
What do you think explains this sort of acquiescence? It's a deeply cultural problem, isn't it? Something that is shared across the Atlantic.
Yeah, well, it's bizarre because you would think that America, which is obviously very different than Western Europe, and you guys have all sorts of shifts in population and demographics, and borders are not what they should be here. I think that's fair to say. America really only has 2 borders. We've got Canada and Mexico. Now, we're pretty much not that worried about Canada. I think a lot of Canadians would like to come to America in light of how their government treated them, especially during COVID. But we have, in essence, imported the same policies that simply have not worked here, right? I mean, I don't think there's any average Brit out there at a pub right now that's going, boy, these immigration policies have really worked. No. Even putting aside, if you put aside some of the racial tension and you put aside the basic ideas of what this country has stood for are being ripped apart when you have mobs of people on the street calling for genocide, and that is what they are doing. Let's not make a mistake about it. When they chant from the river to the sea, everyone knows what's from the river to the sea. And as I've said on my show many times over the last few weeks, if you don't care about the Jews per se, or if you're not Jewish, or you don't care about Israel per se, I think there's many reasons why you should, and you should understand history and everything else. But let's just say you don't care about any of that. Why should the average Brit care about what's happening? Because if you think that when they are done with the Jews, if they do the unthinkable and have Holocaust 2, which, by the way, October 7th was the largest day of Jewish deaths since the Holocaust, if you think they're going to, oh, we're good to go, guys, we accomplished it. Do you think the people that are here in London right now, only, about 2 miles away from us was the rally that I saw? Do you think they're going to just wash their hands and be left of it? So I don't know the exact answer to your question, which is it negligence that allows our leaders to let these people in? Is it willful idiocy? Is it bizarro guilt? I mean, I think it's a litany of things. Or is it what some would say is the cynical version, but I don't think it is, which is a desire to destroy the West? We have a death wish, and we better get rid of that wish.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk, and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.